Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
First of all, I will thank Lena again for the invitation to this wonderful conference. And I must say, I enjoyed the ambiente. They are wonderful people. I learned a lot with everybody, and that's the issue. I was asked from a couple of people to talk, like you said, Bill, about the history of this. It was called Kochen model. It's a little different. Kochen is a little town in Germany, and it started with, for me, I can only talk about myself first. For me, it started with a study I did in the university in '94 about the psychosocial situation of fathers after divorce. I didn't have anything to do with that, but I went to the library, and that was an important experience. You could walk miles and miles and find books about mothers with daughters, mothers with sons, mothers without children, mothers to be. And we found 2 books about fathers. And these books were written by a Greek psychologist. So there was no German literature about fathers at all. I talked to my professor and I told her that's not very possible. So she allowed me to make an empirical study about the situation of fathers in families who were about to separate or who were divorced. I was very naive at that time. I just wanted to do that, and I didn't look around. So I didn't read. Only years later I realized that was not only the first empirical study about fathers in Germany and in Europe, but worldwide. I had no idea. But the echo was incredible. When people were asked to participate, I made, after 3 or 4 days, I made a list about the phone calls, and I had in one day 182 phone calls from fathers who finally felt invited to speak up. That's how it started for me. Then I went further and looked into the court system. The fathers came and told me their stories, and I just couldn't believe those stories. I couldn't believe that this should happen this way, that a high percentage of them saw their children an hour per week, once a week, or a day a week. It was, there was no ruling, they had no security, there were no standards of best practice, neither for lawyers nor for judges. So the parents were extremely insecure. And I learned from practice. Of course, I read literature, but the most important things I learned from practice. When a father calls me, or now a mother too, it's very important to never forget the behavior of parents does not depend on their sex. Fathers and mothers can act the same way.
Ursula, let's hold it slightly away because it's too loud.
Okay. Can I talk without my...
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. It's important to never forget the behavior of a human being, first of all, depends on his personality structure, not whether it's a man or a woman. Especially with parental alienation, fathers can alienate their children as well as mothers. In October, I'm invited by a group of 8 mothers, alienated mothers, to spend a weekend with them and work with them. 6 of them have breast cancer. So what we have been, a lot of you of the presenters said, we have to do more research. I'm actually in the research of the medical, very concrete medical, not psychological, consequences of losing contact to your own child for parents and children. And they are very, very serious, and they have been overlooked so far, more or less. Anyway, that was the beginning of my going into the topic of fatherhood, motherhood. And then I was contacted by a judge from exactly the town of Kodjoe, who had his own experiences with the system. And in those days, the judicial system was such, as we heard yesterday from one of the Nordic countries, that the custody had to be appointed to one parent. And there were more than this one judge who couldn't agree with this law, so it was against the Constitution, so they went against it, and that was the first family law reform, and from then on we had shared custody. It took about, in Germany it takes an average of 20 years to implement something new, that it arrives where it's supposed to arrive. But this happened in 77, and in 98, joint custody started to make its way. We got together, the judge and a lawyer who was very, very unhappy with his profession, because it was the adversarial system. And I was amazed when I saw papers from people, and I thought language is something very important. And one parent files for something, and the other parent gets the paper from the court, and he is the opponent. So at latest by now, they know that they are adversaries. They are against each other. And this judge from Kodjoe, this Judge Rudolph, he didn't want to continue like that. I didn't even want to go into the system like that. And so we formed a group, we got together, and the three of us toured through Europe, through Germany, and we did training. We did a special training because my preliminary conversations with the different professions showed that what a judge doesn't have a clue what a social worker is doing. The psychologists have prejudices against the lawyers, and so on. So one group of professionals does not really know on what ground the other group of professionals is working. We wanted to change that, and we had our training. We made our training with about the same number of judges, lawyers, social workers, and psychologists, evaluators in one seminar. And that turned out to be a very good idea, because the first hours was getting to know the other profession and dropping prejudices, ideas, and then the collaboration started to be possible. I have to see what's on this, I don't really remember. Yeah, it was a change, definitely a change of paradigm, a change of thinking, total change of thinking. That's what I found out in 1994. This system is not working in the best interest of children, and I don't know whether we couldn't change the year to 2000 and whatever you like. So, at the very beginning, for me, it was totally clear that my focus are the children. Because there was one sentence, I think I can put it in here, that my mother continuously told everybody she didn't know what to do with that. At the age of 8, I told my mother and all the adults, the world can only become a better place when grown-ups start treating children differently. And from then on, I had started, well, I'm not better with technique since then. Yeah, okay. Can you just do it? So this is the shift of paradigm. It goes from an adversarial system to a cooperative, collaborative system. And let's say the game has new rules now. In former times, the winner used to be the one who best succeeded in denigrating the other parent with the support of his or her lawyer. And it was a negative competition. We wanted a positive competition. We wanted the parents to understand that the best parent is the one who respects and promotes the relationship of the children with the other parent. So the winners are the children. In the old system, there are no winners. Even if it looks like one of the parties is the winner, in the long run, when the children lose contact or lose good contact to one of their parents through this system, when they went through the court system, they are all winners, fathers, mothers, and children. Oops. I told you I can't do it. I'm so scared of this thing, I think. Thank you. It's a good idea. The formation was, as I said, with all the professions, and it started with the family dynamics, with what is happening in families, in family crisis, what is happening in transition times of families, so they know the underlying problems, they get an understanding, and their family dynamics, a very important point is the generative passing on. The passing on of relational patterns through many generations. And when you start making a genogram of the family, you have the parents, you have the grandparents, you have the children, and when you do that with the parents, very often they recognize themselves what was passed on in their family from one generation to the next, and this is especially true for parental alienation. We talk about the situation of children in the middle of divorce. That's the core of the work for all professions. And we always ask the parents' permission. The overall attitude has to be respect. Respect of one profession or the competence of the other, and respect for the situation of the parents, and respect for the children. And this respect is transmitted, so it creates a totally different working atmosphere. The legal situation is explained by the judge and the lawyer, conflict analysis and resolution, and all this is done through nonviolent communication and is done with the tools of mediation. Mediation, you know, is, I think it's 80% attitude and 20% technique. And the paramount task for all professions is to work towards a consensus and understanding between the parents. It means to give the parents their autonomy back, to allow them to put the parental responsibility on the shoulders of lawyers or therapists or judges. They have the duty to care for and to educate their children. And parenthood means to divide those duties, tasks, and responsibilities between father and mother in a way that is good for that very individual family. And note there are two extremes. There are parents who get up and leave the family after a separation happens. They just get up and go. Those are usually the narcissistic personalities, and this is not possible. They cannot just put the responsibility on the shoulder of the other parent and go. And the other extreme is that parents who try to kick out the other parent of the lives of their children. That is not possible either. I had a very great experience in Holland, I don't know how many years ago. Then in Holland they had teams of a male and a female therapist who brought the parents back into the picture, those who had got up and left. They said, no, this is not possible. And they were specially trained for it. Unfortunately, they skipped the program sometime. It was a very good program, because we only speak about the parents who kick out the other, who don't, and those who suffer from the loss. We never talk about the parents who are left alone with the whole responsibility, and the parents who just go, just walk out of the family. We have, the children's, I made statistics. Statistics of children's quotes and children's wishes. They are international, they are universal, all children want the same. And the first one was, I heard it only last year, and an 11-year-old boy told me, I'm a hearing expert. I had 8 hearings in, I think, 5 years. Hearings to the judge, through whoever, and he said, it's very simple. The judge has to order the parents to understand each other. And that's how I start now the trainings. Because if they understood that sentence, we could go up, get up and go home. It would be settled. The parents must stop fighting, of course, should agree upon the children's issues, should talk to each other nicely. And the parents do have the duty to talk to each other nicely, because, why? Because they are the model for their children's own behavior in problematic situations. The parents show the children how to deal with difficult situations without yelling, screaming, and insulting each other. And that's, from my work, that takes a pretty big part in my work. When I confront them, I say, do you realize how you talk to this man? Do you realize how you talk to this woman? And that helps. They should be like friends. That's a wish. The children wish the parents should be like friends. And what is the most touching for me is that when the children say, I wish so much they would like each other, at least a little bit. Where does this desire come from? The children know from birth they are half their mom and half their dad. And now these two parts, they are fighting inside the personality of the child in creating what we call cognitive dissonance. And this cognitive dissonance continues. I love my daddy and I love my mommy. I'm not supposed to love one of them. How should a child cope with that and stay healthy? It's not possible. Now, all these professions had to agree on two goals. You can only work in a group, you can only cooperate when you agree on common goals. The first one is all children have the right to undisturbed access to both parents and an ongoing relationship with both parents and their extended families. I work with grandparents groups, and I can tell you it's pathetic. Grandparents who lost contact to their grandchildren. It's just a continuation over to the next generation. And the parents, that's the duty for the professionals. The parents have to get all the professional support they need to establish responsible, autonomous parenthood, sometimes for the first time. Sometimes they never had it while they were married, and they start establishing after separation, so they can take the proper decisions together on behalf of their children. Children respect and accept, as a rule, the decisions that their parents make together for them. And children should never, ever be put in a situation that they have to decide. They cannot. That is, the confidence into the parents' decisions is the ground on which children start their walk into life. And this ground should be safe and stable. We are actually seeing some developments that are frightening. It's that the children's will is put in the middle of the court proceeding, and it's called a participation right of the kids. Of course, they participate whether they like it or not. They are in the middle of things. They should always have the right to explain what they want, what they need, what they desire. And they should never have to take the decision. It's grown-ups, parents, and expert task to take this decision however they get to it. And then explain the decision to the children. At a given time, I tried to make some judges were in high conflict families with personality disorders, and when the judge had to take a clear-cut decision, that he would explain that decision as his decision to the children. That could be a very important step, but it could avoid that afterwards the parents tell the children, it's because of your mother or because of your father that we have to do this and that. No, the children need to know that as long as the parents cannot cooperate, as long as the parents fight, they are not allowed to take decisions. Then the judge takes over and takes decisions. And the parents go to see other people to learn to take their own decisions again. And that's another experience I made in my practice. I invite parents, both parents, and I invite them to bring the kids. And the kids are sitting playing in a nearby room. And I learned that from a 4-year-old. The parents said, we have to bring him, the babysitter didn't come. So I said, okay, you play here, look, mommy and daddy are here with me. If you need something, knock at the door and come. And we had the discussion amongst us, and when it was finished, we walked out. The boy ran to his parents and they said, you did not scream at each other at all. So that was such an important experience for the kid and for the parents to make. So those are the agreements for all professionals. That was the aim they are going to work for. So now, cooperation sounds nice, and it's not easy to get to. To reach these goals, they are obliged to work together, to treat each other with respect. No profession is more important than the others. All competencies are equally important. That sounds simple. It is not. I had to learn that cooperation is not easy because we are all educated and we are all socialized in a hierarchical can never pronounce this word, hierarchies, in hierarchies. And we have internalized this. We have internalized to respect authorities, and that's not bad if it's the right authorities. But the entire judicial system is based on a lot of things, among others, on intimidation. It starts with the old buildings that one person alone can hardly open the door. And I learned from parents how afraid they are of a hearing. They are afraid of the judge. They don't know what will come out of it. And it's very important that the professionals realize, are aware of this fear and address it. We say, we are here for you. We are here to find the best solution with you. It should never, ever be a power play. But it often is a power play between professionals already. Like Asun said, between experts, in Germany it's between the social services office called Jugendamt, and as soon as the judge gets the file, he passes the file on to the child protection services. They contact the family. And there are power plays going on everywhere. I think it's very human, because each of us likes to be right. And we sort of have to address all this. We have to talk to each other, all the professions, on the same level. And we need all the competencies combined. One person alone can't do anything in this context. We need to work together. The primary task is to get the child out of the middle and out of the court system. It has been addressed a couple of times from other presenters. As for me, children should not be involved in the court system. And I haven't met a single child who wants to be involved. They want to be kept out of it. There are some teenagers who want to talk to the judge, and that's perfect, and they should have that opportunity. So now I'm here because of prevention, and it's the early intervention that is the best prevention. We work on different levels. We work with families, and we work on the level of on the legal level, and we achieved some tiny little, but some changes of the family law in Germany. Among others, the acceleration of legal proceedings. After a file reaches the courtroom 4 weeks later, latest after 4 weeks must be the first hearing. The cooperation is between all the parties involved. There is no dirty washing from the lawyers. We work present and future oriented, not past oriented. Not what somebody has done 10 years ago counts. No, now. We don't work problem oriented, but solution oriented. And we don't work deficit oriented, all the things the parent cannot do, but we work resource oriented, all the things they can do. The judges are not supposed to accept the change of hearings, because the judicial professions amongst you, they know 225 tricks to delay a procedure, and they use them all. So there has to be put a stop to that. The judges explain to the parents that they have the obligation to enter a dialogue, and that the parents have the obligation to talk to each other in a non-violent way. They owe this to their children. So the sentence that we heard a lot before, with this guy, I'm never ever sitting at a table, is not acceptable. Social workers inform the parents about the children's needs, they discuss possible solutions, and they show up very well informed about the present situation in court at the audition. The parents at the audition, that is new to speak for themselves. They don't let the lawyers speak. The lawyers let their clients speak for themselves. Oftentimes, you can write a report and describe a parent on 25 pages. You don't reach the same effect that when this parent speaks out himself in the courtroom. Then everybody sometimes quickly realizes what it's all about. The counselors help parents who can agree, and they report it to the judge. And they report it in a respectful but clear and honest manner. It's not that parents who cannot cooperate, it's one of the parents who refuses cooperation. It has to be named. So now the different roles, the different professional roles. The judge calls the first meeting, we had that. He informs the Child Protection Services, and via mail, the fast way. I found out many years ago that a letter from the court takes 10 days to leave the court building. That's amazing, you know, and that contributes to the delay of the whole process. The judge says clearly that his task is to protect the children's rights for ongoing relationship, and he makes it a point that he's not going to accept the loss of contact between a parent and the child. And we found out that the clear language, the clear message of the judge to the parents, that he tells them, I am defending the children's rights. I am not going to accept a loss of contact. And he usually asks, what would you do if I don't follow your rules? And so he says, a child needs a loving parent, a good parent, and separating a child from the other parent is not an act of love. It's an act of a lot of things, but not of love. So I would change custody to the other parent. And this sentence alone can make so much a difference for so many parents who all of a sudden realize that their behavior will have consequences. And so far, in too many cases, it does not have consequences. And there are the most ridiculous things still discussed in court. We heard it yesterday. I was amazed because we had a tendency to idealize Scandinavia. Scandinavia is beautiful, but the family law system seems to be a little bit backwards. We had this ages ago, you know, and still, of course, it's still alive, that people say, if you can't cooperate as parents in a friendly manner, then we have to give custody to one parent. I mean, how difficult would it be for me to prove to you in a matter of 1 minute that that I cannot cooperate with this man? There's nothing simpler than that. I insult him a little bit, maybe I kick him a little bit, and that's the proof that we can cooperate. And in Germany we call that Kopfschüttelprinzip. The principle, the mother shakes her head, and that's it. So we got over that.
Great.
Huh?
2 minutes.
That's short. Now, well, there are different roles. The lawyers, I can have 5, please. The lawyers write a short application with, give a short reasoning. They don't analyze the parent's character. They don't analyze the personality. They discuss with the parents the motivation of their application. A lot of parents who apply for sole custody have no idea what sole custody is. They think when they apply for sole custody, they have the entire right upon the child, including visitation. So they need information. He gives them the information, and the lawyers give them the information about the needs of the children. That's why the lawyers need training. Next one. Yeah. And in the first hearing, the judge sets the date for the next hearing in 3 months. And in 3 months, the parents have to report what they have been doing in between, with mediators, with counselors, with therapists, with whoever. The social workers, they continue the work of the other professions. Every profession explains to the parents again and again the needs and the situation of the children. They work solution-oriented, we have that already. And they report their findings to the judge. If the parents still don't find an agreement, there comes the evaluator. The evaluator doesn't have a solution himself either. We want the parents to find their solution. And the evaluator negotiates the problems with the family, and there is the possibility to try out, to agree. I agree with the parents, let's try out evaluation. The child stays 1 week with you, and then 1 week with you. Let's try this out for 3 months, then get together and see whether it works or who needs a change, a minor change or a total change. Over 50% get to a mutual agreement in the first hearing. The first hearing is not a hearing of a judge with the parties. The first hearings are now around a round table. Everybody has a voice. The high conflict cases are different. Networking have a relieving effect, although people are very scared of networking and cooperation because you have to have the courage to let the other person see what you do, how you work, and they're not used to it. And some judges don't want to give up their power. They love their power position. But as long as it's discussed, it can be changed. And once they work in this model, they realize that the work satisfaction grows and the joy of life grows because we all have a very difficult, very responsibility-loaded profession. And it's so relieving to share responsibility. And if we go towards reconciliation, I love this. Reconciliation means freeing the prisoner and realizing the prisoner was you. And usually I can't draw very well, but I draw a prison, a tower, and I show the parent, you walked into this tower, the other one is outside, but you don't get out, and nobody doesn't get in. And what you're about doing, you are taking your children hostage. And I must say, sometimes some of the experts offer themselves as hostages too and go into the tower. So the thing is, we have to free everybody and we have to respect our children's rights. Thanks so much.